Hello and welcome to my channel. If you enjoy the story, please subscribe to my channel and give it a thumbs up. Enjoy the show. Once upon a time, there was a group of friends who lived in a small town. When they heard the most terrifying story among their town's legends, they decided with curiosity to visit the place. The story was about an old house deep in the forest. The house had been abandoned for years and was infamous. One evening, the friends set out to find this old house. The moon was dimly shining, and the wind was blowing gently. When they reached the door of the house and knocked, they waited in silence. Suddenly, they heard the door creaking open. They entered the dark house and saw that the old furniture was covered in dust. Creepy paintings and mysterious symbols adorned the walls. The friends continued to walk in this eerie atmosphere. When they opened the door to a dark room, they couldn't believe their eyes. In the middle of the room, they approached the piano keys, and one of them played a random note. Suddenly, the piano started playing by itself. The friends were horrified and began to run, but the door had closed, and their journey had come to an end. They woke up with a terrible scream. For a moment, they thought it was all a dream, but something didn't feel right. Their eyes shifted to a corner of the room, and what they saw terrified them. There in the room's corner stood the old piano. Though one was touching the keys, yet the piano was still P. The friends, in a state of terror, cautiously approached the piano and stared at the keys, hesitant to touch them. But the piano continued to play without anyone physically playing it. The melody slowly shifted into an even darker tone, and a thin mist began to envelop the walls of the room. Ravioli. The presence, appearing as a transparent entity, exuded an eerie energy. The friends, still in shock, listened to the haunting melody, its lyrics in an ancient, incomprehensible language. They desperately tried to open the locked door, but it remained sealed, and the song continued. The entity, still playing the piano, started to move around the room. The ethereal being seemed to be communicating something, though the friends couldn't decipher its message. Fear gripped them as they were trapped in the room with the supernatural phenomenon unfolding before their eyes. As the entity finished its song, it slowly dissipated, and the mist disappeared. Suddenly, the door swung open, and the friends rushed out in panic. They were still in shock, trying to make sense of the horrifying experience they had just endured. From that day on, the townspeople were even more convinced that the old house was haunted. As for the friends, they could never forget that terrifying night and the haunting piano melody that continued to echo in their minds. In a quiet, remote village nestled deep within the woods, there stood an ancient mansion. This mansion was unlike any other, for it was rumored to be haunted by the ghost of a long-dead noblewoman, Lady Eleanor. One stormy night, a group of adventurous friends decided to spend the night in the mansion, daring each other to prove their bravery. Armed with flashlights and nervous laughter, they entered the eerie abode. The moment they crossed the threshold, strange things began to happen. Candles flickered and extinguished themselves, leaving them in near darkness. Unearthly whispers echoed through the halls, making the friends shiver with fear. They explored room after room, each one filled with faded portraits of Lady Eleanor. In one chamber they found an old, dusty piano covered in a white sheet. As they approached, the sheet flew off, revealing the piano's keys untouched by human hands. A haunting melody filled the room, played by invisible fingers. The friends watched in awe and fear as the keys moved on their own, creating music that seemed to bridge the gap between the living and the dead. Suddenly, the music stopped, and a pale figure materialized before them. It was Lady Eleanor herself. Her eyes filled with sadness, she gestured for them to follow her and led them to a hidden chamber. In the chamber, they found an old diary belonging to Lady Eleanor. As they read her story, they realized that she wasn't a malevolent spirit, but a lost soul seeking closure. Lady Eleanor had been unjustly accused of a crime she didn't commit and had died a tragic death. Touched by her story, the friends vowed to clear her name. They researched her case, gathered evidence, and eventually exonerated her posthumously. As they did, the hauntings in the mansion ceased. Lady Eleanor's spirit, freed from her torment, appeared one final time, offering a grateful smile before vanishing into the afterlife. The mansion, once haunted, became a symbol of justice and redemption, reminding all who pass by that sometimes the things we fear most are the ones that need our age. And so the haunted mansion found peace, and its halls were filled not with fear, but with the echoes of a noble woman's gratitude. The story ends here. Enjoy the show.